What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to GmiasWorld. Today we're going to be talking about the primary abilities that I use, why I use them, and the way that it incorporates with my offense. Now, I want to let you guys know, I appreciate the fact that you guys have been asking me to go over this and explain it and to tell you why, but you can take bits and pieces of it and utilize it however you want. You don't have to really go out there and say, I got to do everything exactly the way that it is, because some of the things I put in a lot of hours of labbing for it. So it's not going to be something that's just going to be automatic. So for instance, when you look at my wide receivers, right, and you're like, yo, Gmi, you got deep out and deep in on them. Why do you do that? I do that because I need to be able to moss if I see one-on-one coverage. For some of you guys that don't moss, that's not part of your offense, you run something different, you would have to incorporate the abilities that best work for you. That's pretty much what the name of the game is. So I just want to make sure that I put that out there. We all play the game differently. And what I'm looking for, you may not be looking for. Like, you may want to run out there with like 2 route techs. A lot of you guys like, yo, I'm putting route tech on my guys. I'm running bunch. I'm going to go ahead and run this smart routed corner, and I'm going to dot you. That's fine. If that's your scheme and that's what you want to build off of, that is absolutely fine. I just need you guys to understand, you can't expect that you're going to get the usual result that you guys are getting. You won't often get that. That's something that I want you guys to understand. It's very, very important that if you are somebody that, looking to throw dots, you're going to look a certain offense, you look to run a certain offense that has specifics. Like if you run the ball a lot and you're like, yo, Gmi, I would like to have abilities across my whole O-line, then you are running a different scheme. Now look, keep in mind, right? It doesn't really matter how good your O-line is. They typically do the same thing. Like, that's what's weird. Like, we've gone from all nasty streaks, we've had post up, we've had puller elite. They pretty much do the same thing. Now, will they, engage heavily when you put, post up on them and stuff like that? Yes, they will. You'll see a difference in that. That ability is very, very OP, as a matter of fact. The post up and stuff like that. But is it something that I would say, you know what, you gotta have that? Something that's gonna make your team like, oh my God. Like, for instance, right? I could adjust the way that I play the game anytime that I want. Like, for instance, Travis Kelce, I'm using him a lot now in the actual offensive plays that I run. Like, I have a set where I have 2 tight ends and 2 wide receivers so that I can audible to like ace and stuff like that. But I don't necessarily need him to have deep out and deep in. I just have that on him in case, Vernon Davis gets tired and I want to sub him, into a different position for that play. I know that I can throw the ball up and I'm going to get a moss animation. But I don't need right now. See, Braylon Edwards currently with my current offense, he's not playing as much. Like, he doesn't play. So you might see me take away this ability and add it to alignment. There's a lot of different things that you can do to change up the game. But whichever aspect of the game that you want to attack, if you want to be a running savage, I would recommend post-ups. 3 post-ups, 2 edge protectors, whatever, go for it. See what happens. The game's going to cheat for you in some cases. I just wouldn't go too crazy with the puller elite. That has been nerfed. The nasty streak, does it work all the time? Not often. I played a guy that had 5 nasty streaks across his O-line, and I shot the gap out of big nickel every play. So there's always going to be somebody that knows a little bit more than you, but as long as you have a general idea of what you want to do, go with that. I'm just going to give you my point of view with the abilities that I use. You take it however you want, and you go from there. At the current time of this video, the AP max is 15. Just so that we kind of, we never know when E is going to do weird stuff, so it is what it is. I don't know. I just got to make sure you guys understand that if you're watching this video and for whatever reason they raise the AP, this is what we're dealing with at this time. Offensively and defensively is 15. So now, let's get down to what we're doing. Primarily, I would recommend 100% to have identifier on your O-line. It's 1 AP for a power center, whatever. Put it on them. Be able to see what the user on the other side of the ball is doing. It will help you so much. It will change your game. It's like, dude, I can't explain how many times I've won games because I caught a guy on the safety and just threw it right there and just mossed him. Beautiful thing to see. Deep out and deep in. Vertical threat tight ends are going to get them for 1. You put both of them on so that if you decide to throw the ball like I do, I'm always throwing streaks. I can go and get that thing. You're going to animate. Now, they're not going to always catch it, right? But you have the opportunity to go up and get the ball and animate because they won't animate any other way. That's just the pure honest truth about it. Now, the deep out and deep in, I believe that it's been verified that it's 20 yards or more. I think mid is 10 to 20, and then short is like 1 to 10. But short works everywhere because I run different abilities sometimes, and the short, like, I guess because it's at the beginning of the route, it just works. Like, it just goes crazy. So with that being said, I would definitely go after something like that along those lines to kind of figure out how you want to do it. But I prefer the deep. The mid is going to be really, really good if you run a lot of skinny posts. If you got Hot Route Master and you just like make skinny posts on the outside, mid in and mid out is really good, by the way. I labbed that extensively with different archetypes like Andre Johnson and stuff like that. So that will work as well. All right, just to kind of give you guys a heads up with that situation. Now, the outside receivers, they must have deep out and deep in if you are intending to moss the way that I do. I'm mossing dudes on a red. Like, it's regular actions right now. Double teams, dudes are getting mossed. Triple teams haven't been successful yet. It's not Madden 20, so we haven't been successful. But deep out, deep in on the outside guys. Deep in on the middle guy. Now, because I'm running a new offense, I don't need to have this ability on Braylon Edwards. So I can slide it around and put it on somebody else and see, if it'll make somebody else do something different. You see what I'm like? You can do different things like that. I may take it off of him and take it off of Travis Kelce and just have Travis Kelce with an X factor and just have him running wild. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not really throwing the ball to him a lot, so it's not that big of a deal. But when I do decide to throw the ball to him, I know he's going to catch it with those abilities. So more than likely, I would just leave that, take the ability off of Braylon Edwards and just probably give something to maybe, let's say, Derrick Henry or something like that. All right, but these are all the abilities offensively, and this is why I use it. Gunslinger, Hot Route Master. I think that they're must-haves. Getting the ball off is super fast, and Hot Route Master just makes you a nightmare. If you know how to put your guys on certain routes, it makes you an absolute nightmare. So that's something that I think should be a part of everybody's offense. Is Brett Favre like the best QB to use? No, the dude's garbage, but because he's strong arm and he gets the gunslinger for 2, it kind of works to use it for 5 because he's a 99 overall. He gets Hot Route Master, so it kind of works out. So it's something that you guys want to look at. But as soon as they release a golden ticket QB, maybe if they do a Cam Newton, something like that, this guy's gone. Like I said, we're not even gonna talk about he's buying time right now. So I'm just saying, any QB that you use, gunslinger, Hot Route Master. Defensive side of the ball, okay? We're gonna break this down, but before I get into the defensive side of the ball, I'm gonna show you guys my specialist, who is my sub linebacker, Derwin James, and he has pick artists. Now, remember, because of his archetype, he can get mid zone for 1. He's a run support safety. You can always use him with mid zone. But because he's one of the guys that I use and I don't want EA to do me crazy, I go ahead and I put pick artists on him to make sure that we limit the amount of foolishness that EA Sports is going to do and make us drop a pick. All right? With that being said now, we move on to the next thing, the defensive side of the ball. What am I using? Why am I using it? This is what's happening. I need 2 sub linebackers to have pick artists. So one is going to be Derwin James, the other is going to be Ronnie Lott. I had a viewer ask about, sub linebackers. Gmia, you can't put a free safety in at sub linebacker. You can't put him in as a specialist in your lineup, but you can sub him in the actual game. So it's not that they can't be there. You just have to not be lazy and actually put him in when you sub him in game by pressing the R1 button and then just going and finding the player you want to put him right there at sub linebacker. So he's going to go ahead and have that because he's one of the guys that I use underneath, as well as Derwin James. Ricky Jackson and Charles Haley, pretty much identical players. Ricky Jackson's a monster though. Okay, you're going to give him no outsiders and edge threat. That is something. Look, if you don't have run stopping abilities, dudes are going to have their way with you. They are going to have their way with you. Put on run stopping abilities. No outsiders on power rushers, goes for 1. Put it on them. All right. Cam Chancellor, mid zone, he gets it for 1. No brainer. Put him out there. Let him roam the field. Roam the field in the deep third. If you play cover 2, whatever. Just let him roam the field. All right. Zone archetype corners. We're gonna give them mid zone because they get it for 1. Primarily, you want to give these players what their archetype gives them for cheap. So zone archetypes are gonna get it for 1. Put it on them for 1. That's pretty much it. JJ Watt, I'm gonna tell you again. You gotta use at least 1 inside stuff. At least 1. I'm just trying to prevent the rage that I go through on a regular basis for you. Please, at least 1. Use 1 inside stuff. That's all you really need. It'll help you tremendously in the run game. And then you also have the no outside as I finish, pretty much backs it up. So what I meant to do right there was go over to the actual Superstar X Factors. Everybody has Zone Hawk. Pretty much what it is. All Zone Hawk. Yo, GG's in the chat. I didn't show you these. Vanguard, Double Me, and Double Me. Now look, like I said, because of my new scheme, I'm running pass balanced. I don't really use Braylon Edwards. So, like I said, we're going to figure out what we're doing with that AP. I do want to show you something really quickly, though, because Derrick Henry's a real savage, but sometimes he'll just get tackled and go to the ground for no reason. Like, would I want to put Bruiser on him? I can make do with, like, seeing what he does, bro, and kind of give him Bruiser. Is he a monster with Bruiser? Yes. Okay, Bulldozer, we could just give him that for one. Like, take that off of the other guy, give him that for one, and see what happens. But this Bruiser does work, though. All right, it is something that I use, and you often get really good animations when you go head up with people and stuff like that. Now, to be honest, he does also do it without having any ability. He does truck dudes without any ability. I just want to make sure everybody understands that. That is something that, you could consider. Like, the Bulldozer is definitely going to get you some stuff going on. Now, as far as the second, we have Edrin James there still. I want to get another, this guy's an elusive back, so I can't really do much with him the way that I want to. We could give him another +1 ability because we run the ball a decent amount. Evasive would probably be really good with him, but he already does whatever he wants anyway, so I don't know if that'll be that necessary. Leapfrog is a really good one to use. Balance Beam, we all seen our guys just drop down on the floor and stuff like that, but what I want you guys to understand is you want to give them abilities that go for 1. The players that get it for 1, those are the abilities that you want to give the player. Don't really go out of your way to give them the 2. Like for me, I believe right now, I'll just show you what I would do. And it may happen later because I'm running, pass balance and I'm incorporating the run. We can do certain things like add evasive or add bulldozer and stuff like that. So that can be adjusted. And that's like the feedback that I want you guys to give me. Let me know, like, what did you change from what I showed you? What kind of adjustments did you make to all the information that's being given to you? You create your own scheme and what you really do. And then for the kicker, we give them, they get 3 AP now. We give them both the abilities. We want to make sure that we can get ice, and then we have a slow kick meter. And that's it. And that's pretty much how you're going to go now with the abilities that you have. This is how you're going to build your team. And just give me some feedback. Let me know, did it work for you? Do you need to go more in depth in other things? And you will start to get better because I don't believe that the whole ability things is going anywhere. EA Sports is going to continue to destroy our lives with abilities by not making them work and doing whatever they want. So I just want to make sure that everybody understands and has a little bit more insight into some of the best abilities that are available currently in Madden 21. For all of you guys that are new, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Everybody else, love you. Thank you for supporting. I'm going to see you guys and girls next time. You enjoy your day. One love, y'all.